The first way, and possibly the most obvious, was simply when reporters used social media as essentially a form of electronic vox pop. In other words, they would cite a specific tweet or Facebook status update and say, this is evidence of the public thinking like this. Slightly more systematically, what we found were reporters implying a certain public value based upon the quantity of tweets or trending topics. And then finally, there's this third group, this third category of use of the data, what we term semantic polling, wherein more complex techniques are used, and particularly this idea of machine reading and natural language processing to actually read thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of items of content, and then to apply to that a specific value. We find this certainly the most interesting of the techniques because it is very sophisticated, its value is still questionable, but it certainly has a lot of room to develop in the future.
At the macro campaign level, we know from political science research that public opinion polling can affect public opinion. That once people start seeing public opinion, they think, oh, maybe I'm in the right or maybe I'm in the wrong, I better change how I'm voting. And then finally there's the way in which media use what we're calling semantic polling, that with traditional polling in campaigns, journalists used to report, there'd be a 2% margin of error, and there were kind of norms built around what how public opinion should be reported. That doesn't exist yet for these new forms of semantic polling, and journalists don't seem to be creating new norms, and it's just not regulated. So during the 2010 election, there are all kinds of experimental public opinion polling done online that wasn't rigorous, but it was reported as if it was, and journalists couldn't tell the difference.
And why this is particularly important with something like semantic polling is at the moment we know very little about how it happens. The software and technology used to do this is proprietary. There are no guarantees of transparency. There is no even standard way of presenting the data. There's another reason as well, I think, to be wary of this, which is often this data was presented by journalists or editors who weren't really familiar with the technologies and the kind of information that was being broadcast. Instead, what they tend to do is slip into the mode that they would use to talk about opinion polls, and that can lead to misrepresentations or false assumptions being presented to the public.
Well, it reveals, first of all, that we now live in 2012 in the era of the two-screen elections. So people, we find more and more, are watching election coverage on television while looking at their mobile device or their laptop in their living room, and they're able to watch and also participate or interact using these different devices together. So the voter is kind of drawn in, and we see, journalists or campaign leaders saying, please tweet us your opinion, what do you think? What happens when tens, hundreds of thousands of people are doing this during the campaign? We're going to see this happening more and more, particularly with the US presidential campaign later this year. Well, in terms of the benefits, it might be one way in which we can see some sort of reconnection between politicians and voters. On the other hand, this could simply be another tool for politicians to impose control on public opinion. So there's this promise, but also this it's easy to be a little bit sceptical about how this could just be another arena in which political parties, regain control and power, and that in the end might just simply, short-circuit any return to trust in democratic politics.
If one looks at it in the broader term, there is a relationship between technology and politics and regulation. But I think the way we discuss this in public discourse at the moment is not very helpful. We tend to look for sort of a technologically determinist view. We tend to look for the way the internet or technology is changing politics, when actually what we should be thinking about is an interaction that takes place between those two. And it's a very dynamic and continually evolving relationship.